Couple of weeks ago, I did a video regarding how bad the creaks and the noises in my Tesla Model Y is. I hate the noises, and I decided to add weather stripping to kind of give it an airtight kind of solution, and it helped a lot. I have partnered today with ZOSANY to provide you guys this same exact weather stripping that I use on my Tesla Model Y to put it on the Tesla Model 3 Highland to see how well it works. You can find all your ZOSANY weather stripping needs down in the link below. Feel free to reach out to them. They have great customer service as well as great products for your Tesla Model Y, Model S, Model X, as well as your Cybertruck and your Model 3 Highland. Looking at the weather stripping, these are amazing seal strips. They will concise the air tightness in your car. They will also allow for less vibration with the panels and keep everything just very nice tucked in and very nice and neat. ZOSANY also provided us with the front door, the rear doors, the front trunk, the rear trunk, the A pillars and the B pillars to install this weather stripping, and that way your car is sealed. Looking at the Tesla Model 3 Highland door panel, and you can tell there's only one particular weather stripping, which doesn't do a really good job, so we're gonna add our new weather stripping on the edge of this door. That way there's less air moving through, there's more protection to your car, and there's less noise. Looking at the back door, and we have the same exact problem. Now, keep in mind that this is a 2025 vehicle and these things should not be a problem with Tesla, but it's something that we're still seeing as far as quality regarding Tesla. To commence the installation, we're going to go ahead and clean the area extremely well. We do not want any debris or anything that may hinder or damage the double-sided tape that we have on the weather strip. This will allow for your car to have full protection and not have any gaps. After cleaning it up as well as you can, we're gonna go ahead and dry the area. As you guys can tell, I'm using a chamois or a chamois that's a little bit moist to fully clean the area, and then I'm grabbing a dry rag to go ahead and dry any excess water that's left or liquid, as well as clean any type of oils or fluids that are left in the panels. We want to make sure that this is dry and very well maintained for the new weather stripping to come in and double-sided tape it. With your package, ZOSANY has to make sure that everything is well laid out. So as you guys can tell, it says left front door. They also give us a pair of scissors that I would highly suggest not using. And you also get an adhesive promoter, which is a funny name, but this allows for the glue to stick better to the door panel. So that way it's almost like a permanent kind of weather stripping, and it's not gonna fall in the summer or when the weather changes. Using our adhesive promoter, we're gonna go ahead and line up the full edge of the door. We don't have to do this twice, only once to make sure that it's well cleaned up. And then we're gonna go ahead and start using our weather stripping to complete the job. I wanna point out that each piece of weather stripping that you have in this car has a corner. I would suggest for you to start in the corner so that way you can cut both in the top and at the bottom to make sure that your alignment as well as the length of each particular portion is exact to your door panel. You may encounter excess weather stripping right at the top. All you have to do is go ahead and cut it. Cut it right in between the weather strip and the main portion of your car. If you overlap them, you're gonna have water leaks, so make sure you do it right under it. Next, we're gonna move into the bottom portion, and this is the same exact procedure. You're gonna go ahead and align it as best as you can and go ahead and start taping it. I would suggest tape it in certain portions first and then retape the whole thing with a roller or your bare hands. You can do this with gloves as it is a lot easier, and that way you pretty much confirm that all the weather stripping is attached to the door panel. Just like before, you may encounter yourself with just a tiny feet of weather stripping, so go ahead and cut that at an angle so that way it doesn't intrude with anything and it's secured in its position. Just wanted to give a quick close-up to my work. I know it's a little bit wavy, but I think it's going to do the job just fine. And as you guys can tell, this provides an extra layer of protection to your car, keeping the wind out and suppressing the noise inside your cabin. I also want to point out that this does not affect your closeout of your door at any point, and it actually makes the soft door closing just a tiny bit better. Next, we're going to move into the front, and this is arguably the most important part of your car because water gets in here so much, it's insane. As you guys know, I have the weather stripping on my Tesla Model Y, and I had the same exact issue. Water would just drip in the plastic area so much, it was uncomfortable for me to see. And to prepare this area, we're gonna go ahead and do the same exact thing. We're gonna go ahead and use our chamois to clean up everything perfectly, and then we're gonna use our another rack to make sure that there's no water or any excess debris in the sides. I also want to point out that your weather stripping will not go into the black plastic. It's going to go into the metal or the panel of the car, pretty much the white area in this case. Using our promoter, we're going to go ahead and make sure that everything's lined up with that particular glue promoter. It does help a lot as it makes the glue kind of permanent. It almost fuses in with the door panel, which I think is a great idea. As I mentioned, ZOSANY has been careful enough to lay everything out, as it says over here, hood. So it's easy to tell where each particular rubber gasket is going in. They also give you an excess amount of rubber gasketing, or weather stripping, I should say, to make sure that if there's any mistakes or if there's any length discrepancies, you have enough of this rubber seal to cover your whole car. And on that note, just a little secret here, I do have a lot of excess rubber seal, so I use that in other portions of the car to make sure that there's no rattles or creaks. Lastly, when you get to the end part of this, you're going to use your scissors, not your ZOSANY scissors on this case. We're going to use some regular scissors to go ahead and cut the excess. And as I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and use the excess rubber seal for other portions of the car. I quickly want to point out that the front looks absolutely stunning, as now there's no gap in between the front and the bumper, which I assume that this will help with wind drag as well as rattles between the front and the bumper. The rest is pretty much the same exact thing. You're gonna go ahead and clean, dry, put your promoter, and tape the crap out of the rubber seal in every single aspect of the car and in every pillar of the car, as well as your trunk. And it should be fairly easy. This job doesn't take too long to do, but I would definitely suggest you take your time to make sure it's properly done. Moving into our other side of the car, we're gonna repeat the same exact thing. We're gonna go ahead and use the right pillar for each door, and then we're gonna go ahead and clean up, dry up, use our promoter, and start taping. Remember to start from the bottom up and then from the bottom to the inside of your door panel. And guys, I just want to quickly point out that please do not use this type of scissors. These were trash and I just couldn't find my real scissors, so I ended up using those and I just didn't like them. Again, the process on the rear door is the same exact thing. We're gonna use the correct weather stripping for the rear door from the bottom up and then from the bottom into the inside of your door. While I'm doing this, I quickly want to point out that I don't like the fact that Tesla is fully aware of this thing, because it's so well known that there's a quality control issue, there is a noise issue with this, and Tesla still doesn't add the right type of weather stripping for these cars, which I think is very annoying. However, with companies like ZOSANY, we can have peace of mind by knowing that they are going to provide us with the stuff that Tesla should have provided us for at a very good price and very high quality. I also want to point out that the doors close in just a tiny bit better way, as there's less rattle when they close and they open, and they have a more composed way of opening and closing, which I think it's great. That means that the rear seals and the front seals are doing their job. Guys, I know this is not your show-off accessory for your Tesla, but it's a desperate thing that your Tesla needs. It'll quiet the Tesla, it'll give you less road noise, and it makes your car a more comfortable driving experience. With that being said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Use my discount code C3SGarage at checkout for savings in your ZOSANY weather stripping kit, as well as subscribing to the channel and following ZOSANY. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!